When there's a beginning, there's an ending too. As we go away, come back, Christ, many predicaments. Feel like lights beneath, colors of love that's excellent. The pictures fade away, but it will remain the same.
Cop living dead when your heart's beating still. No slowing down for me, I'm never gonna chill. Every low phase of riding like a drill. I pop by the rules, but outshine.
Only time will tell the money to the thieves. Longer we wait, may it be this way to keep. Standing by for its surge. Shouting is the pain.
Nothing easy, get up and go, get go.
From the high one reaches to the sky. Ups and downs it goes for years of enemies on the right. As you go, believing the faith in
No time to waste. You gotta face your life, don't get it, no.
Hello, everybody. Hello. What is happening? I'm here. We're here. Hello, everybody. My name is Snowy Lotus. Welcome to the Snowy Show. It is April 15th, 9:08 p.m. We are exactly 8 minutes and 55 seconds late. Awful. I know. I'm awful. I know. I was making spaghetti and meatballs. I lost track of time. You know how it is. You know how it goes. How we doing? I forgot to put the music player on. Today, we are going to be attempting. I tried to attempt this a couple days ago. We're going to attempt to read 4 pages of Storyworthy. 4. I think we only got 3 last time. Yeah, we're gonna attempt to do that. We will see how successful we are at reading 4 pages. Anyway, do I have any updates? I have no updates. What else do? I go to work, I go home. We talked about this yesterday. Go watch the previous episode. Come on. What was I gonna say? Was I gonna say something? Huh. I don't know. Was I gonna say something? I felt like I was gonna talk about something. Yeah, I'm not too sure. What was I gonna talk about? I don't remember. I had this idea of talking about something. So for the time being, we're gonna be reading Storyworthy, and this is gonna be my because like I was thinking about it, and if I don't feel like reading Storyworthy, I'm gonna go through like my list of stuff. If I don't want to talk about that list of stuff, usually I have something else I already have decided on that I want to talk about. And now if I don't actually have anything else I want to talk about, we'll usually be doing like right so like I have like the book we can talk about, I have like the list of stuff we can talk about, or I have like other ideas that are popping around in my head, so that way I have like flexibility, right? And on the weekends I want to be doing like collabs with other creators. I would like to welcome. How you doing, Eld? All right, how you doing? Hope you're having a good night. Yeah, so for the weekdays, you know, I have like flexibility. On the weekends, I eventually want to have it set up so every day we're we're kind of doing different stuff. So now I was gonna do just reading on Sundays, but like, I don't know. I feel like sticking to that is just kind of silly. And because the reading gives me so many good topics to talk about. Anyway, we're gonna start. So we left off a couple days ago. I think we left off on page 82. I don't exactly remember. So we are reading Storyworthy by Matthew Dix. Engage, teach, persuade, and change your life through the power of storytelling. Wow. It's actually a really good book. It's actually a really good book. I have enjoyed it thoroughly so far. We're about halfway through. And there's something about reading a physical book. There's something about the smell of it. You know what I'm saying? Or just like flipping through the pages and it's kind of like new. There's just something about that. There's something about that that's very satisfying. Anyway. Anywho. Oh, this is yeah, TikTok set to my default canvas. You gotta be kidding me. Well, whoopsie. Oopsie. Did a little oopsie doopsie. All right, well, what you gonna do? All right, anyway. Where was I at? Let's just restart here. Okay, so this is chapter 5. First, last, best, worst. Great for long car rides, first dates, and finding stories. So we are currently talking about the author's time in Attleboro. I think not long after he got out of high school. And so we're going to pick up the story there. I'd been living in Attleboro for about a year when I found myself driving down Route 152, the main drag, and noticed that a long line of cars were turning left at a traffic light. I'd driven through the intersection hundreds of times before I'd ever considered what the left might take me. I got curious. I suddenly needed to know where the street led. So even though I was running late, I turned left and followed the procession of vehicles. I drove about half a mile down the street before reaching another traffic light. I looked left and right, wondering which way to turn, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I discovered another main drag. I don't know what the word drag means. I don't know what that means. Like, what? What does that mean? I don't know what that word means. What's a drag? I know. What does that word mean? Hold on. What does the word drag mean? D-R-A-G. No, not the performance. Driving. So what is a drag? It's a drag racing. I don't understand. Okay, I have no clue what the guy. What's this guy talking about? I don't understand. What is a main drag? Is he just talking about like the main street of a town? I have never ever heard of it referred to in that way. Okay. It's North American English. Sure. Sure. Very northern. Very North American English. Like only in the north of America do you hear that. Anywho. Oh yeah. Yeah, I had discovered another main drag, bigger than the one I'd just been driving on. Just from the spot of the intersection, I could see a McDonald's restaurant, a KFC, bowling alley, pizza place, sandwich shop, another grocery store, and much more. It was a whole new world of food, entertainment, and retail options almost within walking distance of our home. Running even later now, I turned left and drove, taking inventory of the multitude of businesses that line the street. I couldn't wait to tell Bengi of my discovery. As I passed a pair of gas stations, I saw the on-ramps to Interstate 495, a highway I drove almost every day of my life. And just like that, enormous pieces of mental map of the area clicked into place. Sections of one part of town connected with another, and in an instant, my understanding of Attleborough's geography coalesced in my mind. A single exploratory turn had changed everything. Something else far more important happened that day. A boy who had never driven far from home suddenly felt like an explorer. I hadn't traveled more than 5 miles from our townhouse, but this was the first time that I'd followed a road just to see where it led. This was the first time I'd driven into undiscovered territory for the purpose of discovery. I felt unfettered for the first time in my life. It was such a small, seemingly inconsequential decision, and yet it changed everything that was to follow. 2 weeks later, I drove into Boston for the first time to see comedian Steve Wright perform. A city that once frightened me was suddenly just waiting to be explored. A month later, I made my first trip into New York City to watch my beloved New York Yankees play the hated Boston Red Sox. Before long, I was traveling throughout New England and beyond. Yeah, that's what I was saying. This is a very New England thing. When I say North American, I mean like North American, like up there. That's what I mean. I have never heard a street referred to as a drag, literally ever. Like what? Okay. Welcome. How you doing? How you doing, Toasty? Hope you're having a good night. All right. Get some water. Okay, where are we at? Before long, I was traveling throughout New England and beyond. Yeah, that's what I mean, New England. The beaches and the mountains were suddenly within reach. I traveled to New Hampshire for girls and New York for comedy. I drove to Virginia with a girlfriend on a whim to see the famed two-headed cow of their state fair. What? I drove to Ohio with Bengi to visit the Football Hall of Fame. I drove up and down the coast from Maine to Florida, chasing girls, lying on beaches, and playing video games. I visited Disney World for the first time and Old Yankee Stadium for the last time. One left turn had filled my mental map of Attleboro and filled out all the other possibilities of the map. Where I once saw limits and danger, I now saw endless possibility. Finding stories from your life can have the same effect. They can fill in the forgotten moments of your life while expanding your previously perceived boundaries. Moments that once lacked meaning and relevance can suddenly be recognized as critical and essential to your life. Make it your mission to find, see, remember, and identify stories, and you will begin to see your life in a new and more compelling light. The last story finding exercise, and one that's ideal for this filling in and filling out process, is adapted from an idea given to me by the Moth's artistic director. I'll say this: the Moth is, I guess, like a storytelling like group. It's like this place in, I think, New York, where people get together and tell stories. I've never heard of it. Outside of this book, I've never heard of it, but anyway. Where are we at? Yeah, so this is the last story finding exercise, and one that's ideal for this filling in and filling out process, is adapted from an idea given to me by the Moth's artistic director, Catherine Burns. She shared this method for generating story ideas as we watched our children play in the museum one day. And I've since turned her idea into a workshop exercise that I use quite often. It's called First, Last, Best, Worst. All you need to do to play is a pen and a paper. As you can see from the worksheet that follows, the top row of this page, x-axis, is labeled with the word first, last, best, worst, along with a column labeled prompts. Along the left side of the page, the y-axis, the prompts are listed. The prompts are the possible triggers for memories. What was your first kiss? What was your last kiss? Best kiss, worst kiss? For each of these prompts, you fill out word for word that indicate the answers to those questions. That's it. The sheet here contains the list of prompts that I use for most often my beginner workshops. It also contains my responses. Okay. Oh, okay. I wonder if we should do this. Injury. Oh boy. Travel. I guess we could do this. Fuck it. Fuck it. We're here. Will this dox me in any way? I guess most of this doesn't really. You know, we're not gonna do this. This is too. Most of this stuff I just don't really have many of. Like I haven't really had that many cars. I haven't really traveled many places either. You know, I'm trapped in a cave. Like where can I travel? I like, but I just don't travel like at all. You know, 10 years working in the same spot. Like I don't. It's not really. All right. So after completing my chart, I analyze it. Specifically, I ask myself 3 questions. Do any entry appears more than once? The signal of a likely story. Could I turn any of these entries into useful anecdotes? Could I turn any of these entries into fully realized stories? I guess I could have different prompts. Maybe I'll do this tomorrow. Welcome, Zumaru. Welcome. Yeah, maybe we'll do this like prompt thing tomorrow for the stream. We're just gonna keep reading. After completing my chart, I analyze it. Yeah. I mark potential stories or stories that I've already told with the S mark. I mark potential anecdotes with the A mark. Below is the same sheet marked. Here's some details of the analysis. Yeah, so the Datsun B210 appears 3 times in the chart, and the best gift entry, Friends' Family, also pertains to the Datsun. These 4 entries are all related to This Is Going to Suck, the story of one of my near-death experiences as a result of a car accident. I won a Moth Grand Slam championship with this story, and it's been featured on the Moth Radio Hour several times. My worst gift, bath towels, will be part of the sequel to This Is Going to Suck, which will tell the hilarious and heartbreaking story of Christmas Day spent in the pediatric ward of the hospital following the accident. Oh, okay. My first kiss entry, Laura, and my first travel entry, Pasadena, 1988. Bro, I'll say this. The guy, and like, I know this isn't like unique for like people in this time, but like people living in America in like the 70s and 80s, just having like years at a time, just traveling the whole country. Like what? Like that doesn't even seem feasible. Like that does not even seem feasible now. That doesn't even seem realistic to do now. Like I can't just like pack up my stuff and just like go cross country and just see what happens. Like no, that's just no. Like that's, is that a thing people still do? Is that a thing people still do? Like people who have no money, no job, no savings, literally nothing in college. Like what? I mean, like, I don't, is that even a thing? I don't think so. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. And this guy's like, oh, I went to Pasadena in 1988. It's like, I just, you know, I just go to all these places. My first kiss took place in Pasadena, California. So he went cross country with his high school sweetheart. God, bro. Yeah. And it's just so like, it's so like peak, like 80s kind of stuff. And it's just like, we'll get back there. I'll say this. I won't go too far into it. We'll get back to this era. We'll get back to the era of being able to go cross country whenever you want. I know we will. I don't know when, but I know we will. Yeah. I've also told stories related to my best car, the 1976 Chevy Malibu, my worst pet, Prudence, my first trouble, corner in kindergarten, my best trouble, inciting riot upon myself, and my worst trouble, arrest. at Moth Grand Slam Championships in New York and Boston, winning 2 of them. I have yet to tell the story of my best kiss, my worst kiss, and my first pet. Or my worst travel. Disney with Cushman. Okay. All have great potential and will likely be told as stories on stage someday. The anecdote called Mysterious Head Wound relates to an incident that happened when I was 3 years old. I emerged from a bedroom with a gaping wound on my forehead that left me with my first set of stitches and a cross-shaped scar across my forehead, which was later obliterated when I went through the windshield of the Datsun V210. All right. My parents were never able to determine the cause of the injury. I think it can make for an interesting anecdote and a story about the brief period when my parents were still married and their few precious memories I had from that time. That's kind of sad. The other anecdote, Lewiston, Maine, is from a recent trip I took to Maine, where I met a young Muslim woman who confirmed that she was gay by watching lesbian pornography on a laptop provided by her school. That's crazy. I'm not sure how that might fit into a story, but it's interesting enough for me to add to my list. In all 19 of the 28 possible entries could be told as stories. This is admittedly a high percentage, but there are 2 things to keep in mind. I have a highly developed lens for stories. I may be able to see them in the moments where you cannot yet. But if you're doing your homework for life, you will develop a similar lens before long. Yeah, this is what I was talking about before, where the author basically says is you need to have like a specific lens or a specific, you have to kind of practice to be able to see stories for life. And you know, if you practice enough, you'll be able to eventually be able to see this stuff. And so the homework for life, which I think I talked about in a short on the YouTube channel. I have a video on this. You can go watch that if you're interested. But that's a very good exercise to finding stories and to kind of be able to build a lens for these types of things. 2, these are highly suggestive prompts that typically generate lots of ideas. I use them in workshops for that reason. They are prime real estate for finding stories. Recently, a class challenged me to complete a chart of prompts that they assigned, wondering if I'd be as effective if given more challenging prompts. Here's what the chart looked like. Okay, tree, toaster, Monopoly, flag, socks. Okay, all right. The results are admittedly not as good. I have blanks in several places where I simply had no memory of a moment that fits the prompt. Still, I managed to find 8 stories in 20 possible prompts, though it's not actually 8 because some of these items apply to the same story. My last and worst trees, Sarah and Emma, are trees in front of the yard in my home. Trees, what? My daughter Clara named the trees and fell in love with them more than any person has loved a tree. Okay, when Emma became diseased a few years ago, she had to be taken down, breaking Claire's heart. Oh my god. Oh my god. I thought he was talking about his kid. Oh my god. I thought he was talking about his kid. Oh my god. Okay. All right. She still walks over to the spot where she still walks over to the spot where Emma once stood and grieves the loss. I could turn this into a sweet story about my sensitive, perhaps oversensitive daughter. My first tree, the oak at the bottom of my childhood driveway, is already featured in a story entitled My Sister in the Toilet. And it could easily appear in other stories as well. It was the tree my siblings and I stood beneath for years while waiting for the school bus, and many things happened during those long waits. The best toaster was thrown at a guy named Mike who's trying to leave a party at the Heavy Metal Playhouse. While intoxicated, I eventually blocked his car with mine, hoping that he would give up and agree to stay. Instead, he began ramming his rear bumper into my car and I finally moved. What? My worst toaster was one of the gifts my parents gave me in my preparation for departure after graduation, and therefore it would be sequel to This Is Gonna Suck. The best and worst flags are the same flag. Years ago, one of my 5th grade students. Oh.
You gonna go eat?
Yeah, soon.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go late.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, there we go. Okay, where are we at? So the same flags. Oh, so the best and worst flags are the same flags. Years ago, one of my 5th grade students, a boy named Nathan, decided to exercise his right to not pledge allegiance to the flag every morning in protest of the reference to God in the pledge. Okay. While his classmates stood with their hands over their hearts, Nathan remained seated and silent. His silent protest went almost unnoticed until I was absent one day and my substitute teacher forced him to stand and pledge allegiance. Nathan attempted to protest, but the teacher refused to listen. The entire class was so outraged by this unfair demand that they refused to pledge allegiance to the flag for the rest of the school year in support of Nathan and in protest of what had been done to him. That's crazy. All right. This was a Moth Story Slam winner where I told that story in Connecticut. Nathan was in the audience with his family. What? His father wept. What? That's crazy. Electric socks for mom. Were the socks? Our brother, is he just going through all these stories? Okay. How many more? Okay, it's almost done. Okay. All right, we're almost done. Electric socks for mom were the socks worn by my mother after she had seriously injured her leg, seriously injured her back while working in hospital pharmacy. Instead of settling her disability claim, the hospital administrators forced her to accept a job as a security guard, a job they seemed possible with her back injury, even though she was barely 5 feet tall and weighed 89 pounds. They were hoping to get her to quit rather than pay her claim. They first told her to work outdoors during the winter, and it was her battery-powered electric socks, equipped with enormous D batteries, they kept her feet warm enough to make it through the winter before the hospital officially finally capitulated and settled her claim. That's crazy. That's insane. It's a story about my inability to help my mother and her diarist. That doesn't sound right. I know that diarist. I guess that's the what? Diarist. That just doesn't sound right, but I know like it's correct. All right. That's weird. Okay. Sure. Whatever. Where are we at? All right. Yeah, and I had forgotten it until my class offered me the prompt. As you can see, I found 3 new anecdotes, 2 completely forgotten until prompted, making it a highly productive first, last, best, worst session for me, much to the dismay of my students who were hoping to prove me wrong. Even when the prompts are intentionally uninteresting, first, last, best, worst. What? First, best, last, worst works. Oh gosh. First, last, best, worst is a game that can be played many ways. For someone on the hunt for stories, you can play alone, as I often do. Prompt yourself using objects in the room, a random page on a dictionary, or ideas you hear on the television or podcast. In class, we use first, last, best, worst as an improv game. You're given a prompt and must tell a story using the first, last, best, or worst version of that prompt. Not only does it generate storytelling ideas, but in class it helps promote extemporaneous speaking skills and teaches my students to utilize the skills and strategies we learn in class without rehearsal. The best storytellers can spin a hilarious and heartbreaking tale with little or no preparation. Eventually, it will become as natural as walking or breathing. That is what I want each of my students to be able to do. First, last, best, worst is also an excellent game for long car rides, first dates, or other moments of potential awkwardness and silence, or simply a means of getting to know a person better. Oh boy. Regardless of where you know how to play, where or how to play, I promise you that it will generate stories for you. And more importantly, you will find yourself filling in and filling out your life, making connections never seen before, and expanding your memory beyond what you might have thought possible. I've given you 3 tools to find stories: homework for life, crash and burn, and first, last, best, worst. Do all 3 with regularity and fidelity, and you will find yourself drowning in stories before long. Your list of potential stories will grow beyond your ability to tell them. What a wonderful problem to have. Now it's time to learn how to craft a story. All right, that's chapter 5. Fantastic. Fantastic. I am tired. That was taking it out of me. I was so tired today. I'm telling you. I was tired. Like, no good. I was so tired at work. I was up so late last night. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm gonna go eat some food. Oh, I'm tired because I haven't eaten dinner yet. That's why. I have spaghetti and meatballs waiting for me. I'm gonna be back tomorrow. I think we might do that prompt. We might do. I'll come up with like some prompts. Well, I'll have it on screen, and we'll that'll be fun. That'll be fun. We'll do that tomorrow. Yeah, that's it for me. What's tomorrow? Wait, tomorrow's Thursday. Friday, we're gonna be doing some more marathons with Eno. I think it's Eno. Oh, I can't remember it. Gosh darn it, I gotta look it up. And I think I'm gonna try to get one other person in. I've been like forgetting to hit them up. Hopefully we can get something together so we have all three of us. That'd be cool. And with that said, that's it for me. I'm tired. I'm gonna go get something to eat, and I'm gonna go get like a short made. I'll be back tomorrow, as per usual. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Like always, if you're interested in hearing me talk about anything else, leave it in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the time you spend with me. And with all that said, my name is Snowy Lotus. I'll be back tomorrow. And as always, see ya. See ya. Bye-bye. 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 Ha ha.